Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Well, he was down here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation this morning will be delivered by Reverend Lewis Carr from the Harvest United Methodist Church in Fort Worth. Thank you very much for coming out today. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges.
May we bow. Oh, gracious and loving God, we come before you saying thank you for this opportunity. Lord, we ask that your grace and your mercy and most of all your love rain down in this place as it always has. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you.
Reverend Carr, thank you very much for that.
Thank you for coming out. Mr. Manius?
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have just one announcement as it relates to the agenda this morning. That's under the County Administrator section, item 8A4. We're going to ask that that item be held until after close today. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of September the 29th.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We have several proclamations, resolutions this morning. The first is a proclamation for Jerry Potter and Bill Thornburg. And I'm going to read that into the record and then ask Mr. Thornburg to come forward. Whereas in 1995, following a mandate from the Texas legislature, Tarrant County Probate Court No. 1 established a volunteer court visitor program and signed up the 2 volunteers that we honor here today. Whereas retired U.S. Air Force Colonel Jerry Potter, a Vietnam combat veteran, contributes his organizational skills and common sense approach to case evaluations, and whereas Bill Thornburg, a retired machine shop foreman, contributes his warmth, concern, compassion, and kindness to each ward he visits. And whereas these dedicated volunteers personally visit wards who reside within a 150-mile radius of Tarrant County Courthouse and tirelessly document the care that the wards receive, as well as let the court know whether the guardians are fulfilling their duties as required by the Texas Estate Code. And whereas Jerry and Bill have together logged approximately 45,500 hours over the last 20 years, receiving nothing more than a cup of coffee, a mileage reimbursement, and a set of new assignments week after week. And all they want in return is to make a difference. And whereas these 2 volunteers are the reason that Tarrant County Probate Court No. 1's court visitor program is recognized as one of the most efficient in the country, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby recognize Mr. Potter and Mr. Thornburg for providing a tremendous community service to the taxpayers of Tarrant County, but most of all, for the impact that they have on the lives of the wards under their guardianship. And further, we do hereby proclaim October 13th, 2015, as Jerry Potter and Bill Thornburg Day throughout Tarrant County, in witness whereof we have herein to set our hands and cause the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 13th day of October 2015. I will move its approval, and I will ask that Mr. Thornburg, Mr. Potter was unable to make it today, but we will get the plaque to he and his family. I know that Mr. Thornburg and his family are here, and I'm going to ask them all to come forward, not just Mr. Thornburg, and so y'all all come on down.
Come on, Judge.
I'm appearing on behalf of Colonel Potter.
Okay, we're gonna have to all get, well, just, I'll tell you what, you get right here, come on, in. Y'all get in here, come on. Just get around, no. Scoot over here, scoot over here. I tell you what, you gotta go right.
Need some help, Judge?
Why don't we
It's almost like her in the court.
Solomonic approach? Split it in half. Steve Key.
Stormberg, we talked a little bit earlier, I cannot tell you how much we appreciate the service that you've given. I would welcome your comments, and I would ask that you might make any comments that you'd like to make, having an idea that there might be a few things you might want to say. Thank you. And I'll give this to, I'll let you
We'll present it.
hold on to that, and if you wouldn't mind.
Your place.
It's been my pleasure to volunteer this song for the probate court one, but I'm not done yet. I've got a few more years. So, I want to thank you for this. Appreciate it.
You've worked hard.
What these people do is to go out and make sure that the people that the judges appoint to take care of people are actually doing what they are supposed to be doing. And a number of years ago, Jerry Potter went to testify before a Senate Select Committee in Washington that was looking into guardianships and dealing with the elderly. And one of my colleagues with AARP quoted me on something that I had shared with people, is that they will not always do what you expect, but they will do what you can expect. And so this group has been out there inspecting for 20 years and still doing it. There are very few of them at programs that started in 95 and are still in business, and I'm very proud of them. Thank you.
Judge King, let me give this to you also.
Thank you.
Now, before y'all, I know y'all are fixing to take off, but I want to just mention a couple. Since this program has started, it has received just about every award that it could get. In 2004, it received the Merit Finalist Mutual of America Community Partnership Award. They received the Governor's Volunteer Award in 2006, the Lone Star Legends Award in 2008, and the U.S. President's Volunteer Service Award in 2008. These folks are doing this because they care. And so many folks in Tarrant County do different things every day because they care. And it really is what makes this such a great place to live and to work and to raise a family. So thank you again very much for your dedication and for your passion.
Thank you.
And the motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Brooks.
Thank you, Your Honor. This community lost one of its finest educational leaders and community leaders, a week to 10 days ago. That person being Chancellor Irma Johnson Hadley of the Tarrant County College District. We buried her on Saturday and presented her family with a memorial resolution, which I ask this court now to ratify. I move ratification.
Second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And I would ask that we adjourn today in honor of Irma Johnson Hadley and in honor of Kathy and Darrell Hurt.
and in honor of D. Kelly Sr.
I thought we did that last week.
We didn't meet last week.
You're right.
And
And
in honor
Rick Kelly
of,
Senior, and in honor
and in honor,
And Red Barton,
of Red Barton.
former fire chief of the Eagle Mountain Volunteer Fire Department for 150 years.
I'm just going to tell you, this has been a rough couple of weeks
It really
for Fort Worth and for Tarrant County. We lost some real
And
leaders.
Richard Rainwater right before that.
Yeah.
Please let the record show that, and we again, the contribution that have been made by the individuals that have just been named in this community are just breathtaking. So we very much are going to miss these folks. Commissioner Brooks and Commissioner Wynn, I believe you have a resolution.
Yes, Your Honor. As technology expands in our daily life and we become more and more reliant upon it, cybersecurity is fast becoming a national security concern and is a daily concern. As a result, Stop, Think, Connect is a campaign, is a national public awareness campaign aimed at increasing the understanding of cyber threats and empowering the American public to be safer and more secure online. As a result, Your Honor, would you please read the resolution into the record? It's a National Cybersecurity Awareness Month.
Whereas Tarrant County recognizes that it has a vital role in identifying, protecting, and responding to cyber threats that may have significant impact on our individual and collective security and privacy, and whereas critical infrastructure sectors are increasingly reliant on information systems to support financial services, energy, telecommunication, transportation, utilities, healthcare, and emergency response systems. And whereas the Stop, Think, Connect campaign has been designated as the National Cybersecurity Awareness Campaign, implemented through a coalition of private companies, nonprofit, and government organizations, as well as academic institutions working together to increase the understanding of cyber threats and empowering the American public to be safer and more secure online. And whereas the National Institute of Standards and Technology Cybersecurity Framework and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's Critical Infrastructure Cyber Community Volunteer Program have been developed as free resources to help large and small, both public and private, implement the cybersecurity framework and improve their cyber practices through a practical approach to addressing evolving threats and challenges. And whereas maintaining the security of cyberspace is a shared responsibility in which each of us has a critical role to play, and awareness of computer security essentials will improve the security of Tarrant County information infrastructure and economy. And whereas Tarrant County residents are encouraged to visit the Stop, Think, Connect campaign website to learn about cybersecurity and put that knowledge into practice in their homes, schools, workplaces, and businesses. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim October as National Cybersecurity Awareness Month throughout Tarrant County, in witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 13th day of October 2015.
Thank you, Your Honor. And this proclamation is presented jointly by Commissioner Brooks and I. And I move for the approval of the proclamation.
And I second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
We'd like to invite our CIO to come forward to accept the proclamation. And our Chief Security Officer as well.
I'd like Information Security Officer to say a few words. He has been the champion of keeping our data secure here at the county. Yeah.
Morning, Judge. Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Just want to thank you for recognizing an important aspect of information security, and to let you know that we will endeavor each and every day to keep the county's data safe.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Brooks and Commissioner Wynn, I believe you have the next proclamation also.
We do, and I first became involved in AIDS work back in the 90s. And the mantra during that time was that we would stay involved until it's over. Now, since that time, we've made substantial progress in dealing with AIDS, to the extent that the process of delivering services to those affected with AIDS is no longer about helping them to die, but teaching them how to live with their disease. HIV and AIDS in many places in the world has become just one more chronic disease. But it's still not over. There are many places in the world and many places in this country where the infection rate is still out of control. And we hope through this No Excuses Health Fair to raise awareness in this community about the fact that HIV and AIDS and other STDs are still around. They are still a problem in our community, and we still need to be concentrating our resources to do something about this. So, Judge, would you please read this proclamation into the record?
Whereas the No Excuses Health Fiesta is an AIDS outreach center in Tarrant County Public Health, Adult Health Services, initiated to increase awareness of and promote testing for STD HIV and chronic diseases among at-risk and minority populations. And whereas racial and ethnic minorities are disproportionately affected by HIV, AIDS, and other chronic diseases and represent the majority of new HIV infections, people living with HIV, as well as deaths among people with HIV, and in 2014, the Hispanic Latino population accounted for 78% of newly diagnosed HIV/AIDS cases in Tarrant County. And whereas many Hispanic Latinos lack health insurance and are not connected to traditional social services and healthcare networks, and whereas it is critical to raise awareness of the potential of HIV infection in the at-risk and minority populations, and offer culturally and linguistically appropriate STD, HIV, and chronic disease testing and prevention intervention programs, as well as target those who are most susceptible. And whereas AIDS Outreach Center in Tarrant County Public Health and partnering organizations offer an array of direct health care services that encompass the cultural and linguistic needs of Tarrant County communities. And whereas the No Excuses Health Fiesta is an opportunity to increase awareness, commemorate those lost or suffering from infections or infectious or chronic illnesses, and bring leaders together to advocate for greater services and community involvement to fight these epidemics. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim the No Excuses Health Fiesta in Tarrant County as a significant event to raise awareness of STD, HIV, and chronic diseases among at-risk and minority populations. And further, we urge all community partners to promote awareness of HIV, STD, and chronic diseases in Tarrant County. In witness whereof, we have hereunder set our hand and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 13th day of October 2015.
On behalf of Commissioner Wynn and I, I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
This morning, we've got Shannon Hilgarth, the director of the AIDS Outreach Center. And Mark, you're standing in for Vinnie this morning. And Mark Wilson of Tarrant County Public Health to receive these plaques. Please join us at the podium.
If we ever set one job.
Somebody come over here.
You can't see the camera can't see you.
Shannon, you want to have?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Just wanted to let the community know that while National HIV Latino AIDS Awareness Day is coming up tomorrow, Thursday, this week, we are going to have an event on Saturday at the Arlington Clinic, which is Randall Millen Cooper, for testing, for information, just to get the community involved, to increase that community awareness. So I encourage all of Tarrant County to come out on Saturday and join us at the Arlington Adult Health Service Clinic.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you, Mark.
Good morning. I just want to thank the county for its long support of HIV AIDS issues in this area. I think it's unusually strong support, and it has been since the beginning, and it makes all the difference in the world of how we work together towards finding an end to this disease and treating this as a chronic long-term illness. So I appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes, Your Honor, I am certainly proud to again support White Cane Day in Tarrant County, and we have some people that will be coming down in a few minutes, but if you would read the proclamation into the record, please.
Whereas the white cane was introduced in the United States in 1930 by a member of the Lions Club International and has, along with the guide dog, become universally known as an identifying symbol of the blind and visually impaired. And whereas the white cane and guide dog are tools that are key to greater mobility and independence for the blind or visually impaired. And whereas for the sighted, the white cane and the dog are reminders to respond with respect and courtesy to individuals using them. And whereas for all of us, they are reminders of our commitment to removing barriers, both physical and perceived, that prevent people who are blind from reaching their full potential. And whereas the blind community has come together to promote awareness of the independence and contributions that individuals who are blind make to the social and economic life of our community, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do proclaim October the 15th, 2015 as White Cane Day in Tarrant County and urge all citizens to join in promoting independent travel and full participation for all of us in every respect of life. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 13th day of October, 2015.
And I'll move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And I believe Ginger Kraft, Todd Icard, and Melanie White are here to receive this proclamation. If you'll join me down at the podium, please. It's my pleasure to again present this to you and ask you to make any comments you'd like to make. And we'll see y'all first. Let's get the picture. Let's get the picture. Oh.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ginger Kraft. I'm with the American Council of the Blind, and on behalf of the blind community of Tarrant County, we want to thank the Commissioners Court for all of their support we've had from you in the past, as well as the continuing support we have. I especially want to thank Commissioner J.D. Johnson's office and his staff, him and his staff, for their support over the last 9 years, I believe it's been. I would be remiss if I didn't particularly thank Steve Townsend. Steve, would you stand up? Steve has been a tremendous help and support for the blind community. He's opened doors for us that we cannot even see. I want to give you a couple of examples about the white cane. About 11 years ago, I was living in Plano, Texas, had a great job, was driving, traveling, doing everything that I wanted to do. And overnight, I lost my sight. In a panic, I called my daughter, and she said, "Mom, you need to go ahead and retire and move over with me, and we'll go from there." So I moved back to Fort Worth, and for the next year, I went through surgery and depression and panic, not knowing what was going to happen with my life. And the Division for Blind Services, the state agency, contacted me, and they sent several people out to help me, but the main help that I received was from from the white cane instructor, Melody Gatton. I'm sorry, I messed up her name. But she has been a great help to me, and when she came out to show me how to use the white cane, she showed me how to overcome obstacles. The curb, you wouldn't think about a curb, but there's many heights of curbs, and it's difficult for someone that can't see the depth or height of a curb. She took me to the mall, showed me how to maneuver through the mall, took me on the bus, the train. And one day I came home and told my daughter, I said, "You know, I could walk down to the end of the block and get on a bus, go downtown to the train station, catch a train, get off at the DFW port, catch a shuttle over to the terminal, and the airline would meet me with an attendant and a wheelchair and take me right to the door of a plane, and I could be out of the country before you'd even know I was gone." So that demonstrates confidence and independence. And since then, I've traveled all over the United States and went to Washington twice to talk to the legislators there about blind issues. But I just quickly want to tell you one more example, which touches my heart. There was a blind man living in the homeless shelter, and I don't know what the rules are at the shelter, but I know you can't stay in there all the time, and who would want to? But anyway, he when he was out on the street, he was stumbling and not knowing how to get around, and people shunned him because they didn't know what was wrong with him. And the police stopped him several times thinking he was drunk. So somebody called the Lighthouse for the Blind, and the Lighthouse sent an angel with the white cane out to him and showed him how to get around. And suddenly people started, the white cane is recognized internationally as an aid to the blind. So people started treating him differently, coming to see if he needed help. And the best thing is the police quit harassing him because they thought he was drunk. And I want to tell you, commissioners, if you ever are harassed by the police, come see me and I'll give you a white cane. Thank you so much for your support and advocacy.
I think if I tried to get from here to the airport via all those transportation services, it would take me so long my wife would have no problem figuring out. Now, I'm not sure she'd come and get me, but she'd have no trouble figuring out where I'd gone. Thank you again very much for being here today. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson, thank you. Commissioner Fickus.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody who was involved in our Empowering Seniors program that we had on October 2nd. We had a record turnout, record number of vendors, participants, and it was just a great day. I want to thank Judge Whitley and Commissioner Wynn. You both provided help from your staffs, and I really do appreciate that. The constable's office and our maintenance center and everybody else who was volunteering. We really want to thank everyone because it was a great day for seniors in Tarrant County. So thanks.
Wait a minute, you've got somebody.
Roderick helped from Commissioner Brooks' office.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you were there.
Yeah, in fact, we've got a picture because your photographer thought it was Commissioner Brooks.
Yeah.
I had to
And Commissioner
explain
Johnson
that
was
to
there.
him.
So we appreciate all that. It really was a great day.
And I would just remind everybody to come hungry next week. We're going to, I'm going to be cooking hamburgers for the kickoff on our United Way campaign. So, don't eat before you get here. Court members, you have before you the consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have three additional items this morning. The first one, we're requesting that the Commissioners' Court approve an order redrawing the Tarrant County Commissioner Precinct boundaries between Commissioner Precinct 1 and Commissioner Precinct 2. This is simply to move one voting precinct from Precinct 1 into Precinct 2.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the Court, on item number 2, it's that time of the year, actually every other year, that we're requested to make nominees or nominations to the Tarrant Appraisal District's Board of Directors. As stated in your court communication, we have listed the 5 current board members. It's my understanding Mr. Eubanks has decided that he is not going to run again. So the rules are basically is that the Commissioners' Court gets to nominate up to 5 individuals, and we'll send these to the TAD board, and we will, in October 31st, the entire list of nominees will be presented, and we'll have until December to make that vote. So, if at this time, if the court would like to make any nominations to that board, it would be the appropriate thing to do.
And right now, we're just making nominations. They
These
will
are just nominations. We have about 500 votes out of, or a little over 500 votes out of 5,000 votes, and you will not be casting those until December.
Okay.
Well, I would renominate Johnny Bennett.
I would nominate Mark Wood. And I would put up John Marshall. Now, there's some question at this point in time whether or not he can be on there or not, but I figure if we put the name up, then somebody will tell us.
If you would like to nominate two more, you have two more spots. If not, Your Honor, what we'll need, we have a resolution that's attached to this. We'll include those three individuals, Johnny Bennett, Mark Wood, and John Marshall, in those sections. And we'll now ask that you approve that so that we may submit that to the appraisal district for consideration.
Move approval of our nominations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Finally, members of the court, a week ago to item number 3, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve a research collaboration between Tarrant County through its medical examiner and the Thermo Finnegan Limited Corporation.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Tidwell?
We have two items that we're asking the court to consider this morning. The first is approval and release and the substitution of depository collateral as outlined in your court communication.
For approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Fickus is out in this particular vote.
The other item we have is to receive and file the auditor's report for the review of controls over inmate property. The only comment I would make is that the sheriff continues to have up to 3,800 inmates incarcerated on a daily basis, and our systems are pretty old and a lot of manual processes. It is inmate property, but there is a lot of dollars and assets that go through there, so we feel that it's warranted that at a future time in the budget were to be available, that the court and the sheriff might consider what, if any, changes could be made to those systems to improve the security of both the cash and the assets. And the findings and the sheriff's response are attached.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the auditor's report. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Phillips, yeah, Frank, come on forward. Didn't see you back there.
Good morning.
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 We're asking for approval of the list of proposed election day polling place changes since the November 4th, 2014 election.
Move for approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is it the November 4th or the November 3rd?
Well, this was since the November 4th, 2014. The changes
Okay,
from last November.
okay, I see what you're saying. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
We're also requesting the approval of the proposed list of precinct combinations and maximum number of clerks that may be appointed at each polling place for the November 3rd, 2015 constitutional amendments and joint elections.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Glenn? Nope. Ms. Worthy?
She's there.
I can't say. I'm going to get these. I'm going to get these mirrors and put up here, and I can
Exactly.
see you sitting in the corners.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'd like to take these a little bit out of order. I'm going to do items 1, 3, 4, and 5, and then I'm going to have Amber Norris, our wellness coordinator, do item 2. So our first item is to receive and file the personnel agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our second item is an approval of revised definitions of the temporary part-time appointments. We have discussed this with you in the past as we begin to talk about our changes to our benefits plan in compliance with the Affordable Care Act. We currently have 5 types of classifications, and we are recommending changes to some of these. I can certainly go through them. We have our county temporaries, which are typically our hourly individuals that we allow to work currently any number of hours up to 1 year, and then they are removed from payroll for 3 months. We are recommending that they be restricted to, yes, sir?
Robin, I've had a couple people, one of them an elected, the district clerk, who could not be here today, has asked if we would remove this from the agenda today and discuss it next week.
We can do that.
He's got some real issues with it, and I really wanted him to, I'd like to hear what his issues are.
Okay.
And have the court hear what his issues are. So I would, and again, I apologize, I should have said something when you started. I would like to make their motion to pull this item until.
Table for 1 week.
Table it for 1 week.
Why don't we just hold it for 1 week and then we'll just kind of go from there.
Okay. Our next item is an approval of out-of-class pay extension for the Criminal District Attorney's Office. The Criminal District Attorney has been paying out-of-class to the incumbent of the position of the Senior Attorney 5 position to of the Chief Civil Division. The cost for this extension will be approximately $11,229, including fringes.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our next item is approval to double fill a position and for a waiver of terminal benefits for the Justice of the Peace Precinct 4. The incumbent of an administrative court clerk position is retiring in November. This individual is being allowed to burn out some of their vacation time, and because of the small staff and the critical nature of the duties, they are asking to be able to fill this position effective October the 26th and through the period of time when that employee's terminal benefits are paid out as well. The cost for this will be there's a salary savings and a cost. So the cost of the waiver is a little over $11,000. However, the salary savings will be about $14,000. So there'll actually be a long-term or a savings.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And I will now turn it over to Amber Norris.
Good morning.
Morning, Judge. Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
How are you guys doing?
Great.
Good. Okay. Just here to talk about the request for approval for the worksite lactation policy. Due to, basically, HR has been working with Public Health for several years on this initiative, and we're finally getting closer and getting some ground with things. Public Health has actually helped us develop the policy and the growth of our lactation rooms across the county for many of our buildings for our employees. As you can see, the background, basically in 2010, due to the Affordable Care Act, a portion of that was for, mainly it covered for looking at making sure that they had reasonable accommodations for lactating employees, they had reasonable break accommodations, and a place other than a restroom, something clean in a way, not in the restroom area. Also, that the public employer may not suspend or terminate an employment or otherwise discriminate against them because the employee has asserted her rights under the law. So the first part only covered the hourly employees, basically. There was a new part that was put in effective September 1st of this year, Title VI for Chapter 16 under that code, that covered the public sector and our salaried employees. So that second part kind of covered all the employees that are underneath and hired by the county. So with that, basically, just the distribution upon the approval of this policy, we'll distribute it along with the policy and some procedures to help and critique for our department heads, and we will communicate this out throughout the county. Now, I do have some pictures to show you, and it's more or less not just to show you pictures of the rooms, but just to let you know how many facilities that we do actually have at this moment. And we are in the process of growing that. We have some more facilities coming online pretty soon. So you'll look, basically, you can see these are our WIC, a lot of our WIC clinics, and you can see this is before the Worksite Initiative was started, and then after, when they received some grant money and things, how the rooms were changed and kind of upgraded some to make it feel a little more homey, so to speak. A lot of our rooms have refrigeration, place to wash your hands, to clean up, so that you're not, in a nasty space. You can clean up where you need to. And as you can see, just the different locations for our WIC clinics, and they're all different spaces and utilization. Our new buildings that have been built are either already have been initialized and have a location in them, or we are looking to find a location if they don't currently have one. And most of our outer lying areas do have some form or fashion. We did currently, the newest ones that we have are these for the Family Law Building, the Plaza Building. Thanks to Public Health's help, we have been able to kind of outfit it a little better in the utilization of the room. And the new Courts Building, we have that is still under construction, so to speak. We haven't gotten everything in, but it is open and it can be utilized at this point. And then we just recently had one open for the Tim Justice Curry Center. Again, that's also under construction. And just a thanks to the room that was utilized for that. We're really thankful for that. And that's kind of where we are. We have one coming on for juvenile and also hopefully for the old courthouse soon. So we are continuing to grow in education for our employees as we move forward, and just to get the word out there and help our employees understand, because it is a culture change for everyone. You guys have any questions?
Any questions? Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. Vinny, nope. Just keep tricking me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just have one item from Public Health, and we're requesting that the court approve a contract with MedVantech Clinical Solutions, LLC, to provide both upgrades and technical support for our Medisolv system that we use for billing.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Beecham.
Come on down.
Okay. No, his only win this year is liable to be the week they have a bye.
There's been a small drought since our last victory, but we're about to correct that. We do play bye this week, so go Hogs. Steve Sparks tried to give me some pointers to talk positive. I can't come up with much. We do have the 8th ranked running back in the country, and we'll settle at that and tell you we have 2 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for bid 2015-212, signing a contract for pre-sort mailing services for facilities management. Recommendation will be toward a per enterprise basis, selecting as our primary vendor Pitney Bowes Pre-Sort Services and our secondary vendor Mail Pre-Sort.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our last item is a bid award recommendation for bid 2015-214, submitted for the purchase of envelope feeders with conveyors, again for facilities management. Recommendation will be toward the low bidder Graphic Finishing Systems, amount of $17,985.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Transportation.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
We are requesting the court's approval of an advance funding agreement with the Texas Department of Transportation related to intersection improvements along State Highway 360. This will be from south of Interstate 20 to US 287. The county has committed up to $3 million to fund the intersection improvements within the county. $2,750,000 will come from Precinct 2 discretionary funds, and $250,000 will come from the judge's office discretionary account.
I move for the approval of the funding agreement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appointments today.
I have some appointments that I would like to submit. Let me pass these out. I apologize. It's to the T-Board. For the city of Richland Hills would be Michael Logan. Even though the cities don't officially nominate people, I have had conversations with the mayor and others in Richland Hills, and Mike was somebody who was suggested that interview and visited with him, and I think will do us a fine job as an appointee. You want to do all these at one time? Okay. The second one is Tito Rodriguez. Tito is from North Richland Hills. For those who recall, North Richland Hills joined the T earlier this year, and legislation that was passed through the legislature allowed some additional T-Board members, and so they now have 3 outside of Fort Worth. So Tito is our proposed appointee from North Richland Hills. Tito is also on the city council, and we have been told by the T that they're people that does not create an issue for them. The third is a reappointment of John Michael Franks, who is currently serving from Grapevine on the T-Board, and he would be a reappointment for another year.
I'll second the motion. Now, as I understand it, I mean, this will take the board up to 11.
Right. When they reach, was it 1.2 million, the city, it goes to 15.
Okay. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Any other appointments? Then you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. I failed to mention on the agenda announcements that we are not going to have a briefing this morning on the hospital district. They had a work session last week and not a board meeting, so their next briefing will be after their next board meeting. Board members, we could go to item B. This is the TechShare Indigent Defense implementation. We'd like to give you a report. Mr. Shugart is here to address the court at this time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I'm real excited to be here today to talk about the implementation of what we call FIDO, or TechShare Indigent Defense. It's an example of the collaborative effort within the county, but also with TechShare to successfully implement a program. And I just want to go through briefly here where we stand. Why are we automating? This was automating the payment voucher system. As you all are aware, there's a constitutional fundamental right to appoint counsel. And in 2001, what we called Senate Bill 7, the Fair Indigent Defense Act, requires the judges to have a plan in place
to approve and appoint counsel, and it's overseen by the Texas Indigent Defense Commission. Tarrant County, before Senate Bill 7 and continuing, is our criminal judges set the standard for how to manage what we refer to as wheels. Just for example, in 2016, Commissioners Court set aside $18 million for indigent defense. $15 million of that is dedicated to criminal indigent defense. Over 27,000 payments go through the auditor's office to over 240 different attorneys through the system. And right now, that's all done prior to last week on a 4-part carbon paper form. So what we've done is taken a system that uses an antiquated 4-part form and automated it through a web-based system. How do we get here? 2011, the Criminal Court Administration actually met with the Indigent Defense Commission and discussed the possibility of using a system in Bell County to implement it in Tarrant County so that we could automate the payments. And as you all recall, in 2013, we were awarded a grant which is expanded to 11 additional counties for a total of $1.9 million that's overseen in GK's office. Part of the grant is not only to implement the software, but to do a technical migration so that it will be a common platform with all the other TechShare products that are being deployed in Tarrant County. And included in the grant is 3 years of operating and maintenance costs. What's our role in all of this? We actually, because of being the largest county in the grant, we actually lead the collaborative project with all the other counties. We included the Texas Indigent Defense Commission. TechShare, of course, plays a major role in this, and there are 10 other counties, but we have already processed more payments than all those other counties combined. But this software is built off of a grant that was originally funded by TIDC, so we are building on a known software, and we weren't out there being bleeding edge technology. It's now implemented in 11 different counties across the state. What it really does is automate the previous manual process. This includes that our financial and information officers that are employed by the courts to go interview people that request counsel that used to be done on paper is now done digitally. They gather the data digitally, and the defendant signs it. What is really cool about that data, instead of being faxed, hand carried to a magistrate, is entered in the system, and the system analyzes that financial data against the criminal judge's approved indigent defense plan. It runs that data up against them and makes a recommendation. This is kind of what if your screen right now is kind of what the start in the feel of that software. When it gets that way with that recommendation, it allows the criminal magistrates only to review and talk to those defendants that haven't met the criteria and maybe look for exceptions and so forth. And that way the appointments are happening much faster and people are getting their attorneys and notifications of attorneys faster. It manages all the different wheels and different levels, misdemeanor, capital, first degree, and state jail. And the Office of Attorney Appointments uses this software to notify the attorneys via email. They get a PDF image of what their client's name is and where to contact their client. We actually started using the software about a year ago. And it automated all the processes I just discussed. Since we've gone live with the system, this system has appointed over 26,000 appointments. I'm sure it's up to about 27,000 of this morning. So it is very efficient. What got us here is we had to communicate with all 10 county criminal court judges and 10 district court judges in order to get this to work, to change the way we do things. And before we went to the voucher system, we had to train 240 defense attorneys in Tarrant County how to use a web portal system. What the attorneys can do in this really cool system is they can review their appointments. They get a portal, they see their appointments, they see what's going on with them, they see where their client is, and by utilizing that portal, they can track their appointments. A lot of times during the discussions with the attorneys, they are busy. They move things through the courtroom. The courtroom is a chaotic place. They may misplace a bill. They may misplace what's going on, and this system allows them to keep track of their clients and of their billing. They can work on their vouchers as they go along. What's really neat, too, because of the automation, the judges included in the misdemeanor plan the ability that if an attorney takes forever to send a bill over 30 days, they have the discretion not to pay, because it's so much easier to track and not lose a payment that the judges feel that at 30 days is a good window from deposition. I have challenges with our word trading. Resolution of the case, they don't have to pay. And this is kind of what an attorney, I'll let Leon Reed let me borrow his portal, took a picture, and that shows all the vouchers that he had created last week within the system. Now, what can the judge do in the system? Well, the judge can review the vouchers. They can either approve them as submitted, they can amend the voucher within the plan, or they can send it back to the attorney. And what's really cool is, and a lot of things happen in the court, and the judge and the attorney can communicate back and forth about the voucher during that time frame in case there's any question of a bill or a need of additional expense, or what did you do mean by other. And that's what the kind of judge portal looks through. They have this little window of portals that they check on a daily basis. Judge Cummings tells me she checks hers first thing in the morning, right before lunch, and then right before she goes home to expedite the payment process. Now, I'm going to kind of turn this over to Craig Maxwell, because one of the key components in all of this is now that the judge has approved it, the auditor downloads that information, loads that vouchers into SAP, and there's no more manual entry. And it's a faster payment for the attorney. So, Craig, what have we done so far?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning, Craig.
On today's claims that you just approved, you approved 84 vouchers for $21,000. We are seeing an increase in the number of transactions coming through daily, so they are getting the process down and getting the payments to us. We would also like to thank Greg and his staff and all those that were in our office that helped make this a success. Thank you.
So where are we now? We've implemented 9 of the 10 county criminal courts have implemented. Judge McCoy in County Criminal Court 3 wanted to make sure we had all the bugs worked out. And we really feel like we have a significant percentage of bugs worked out, and he'll go live on November 1st. And misdemeanor courts, as you know, they may not represent the dollars that go out, but they represent the volume of cases. And so we're testing the system and pushing the system in volume. And Judge, after we go live, there's discussion with the felony courts. Judge Gallagher is chomping at the bit to go live with this system. And the defense attorneys are already asking when the felonies are going live. So I believe it's received positive. But we wouldn't have gotten here without the partnership with TechShare. The partnership with TechShare and this communication, the way we viewed it, it's not the tradition, as you all are aware, it's not traditional vendor relationship. We're in it together, and so it's really proved very successful in this. Judge Carr, is my administrative judge, provided all sorts of significant leadership. And again, I know that Craig thanked, but Renee and in their office worked hand in hand with us, knowing this is something that was a long-term vision and where we needed to go. But like with everything, I couldn't do it. I like to stand here and talk about it, but I have people that work for me, that work for the judges, that really take. And I'd like to recognize Barbara Murphy. I don't know where she moved to. She was here a moment ago. Barbara. She's in charge of the Office of Attorney Appointments. And I have these great ideas, but Barbara gets behind me and cleans up all the pieces, and so she deserves a lot of credit. And she made things happen. I appreciate Judge Webb, who went around and made sure that all the judges understood the process and helped train the attorneys. And Nelda Cassiati, she also trained all the attorneys. And part of the key was the coordination with the our IT department, because even though it's a shared, we worked well together. We worked well in getting labs and so forth. And Mike Green from Information Technology was a project manager from that side. And that's what I want to really stress in all of this, is that, again, it's a Tarrant County model that if we all work together, we can accomplish something. And I'm really proud of where we got. And I'm hoping we go further, and this is, again, the beginning of many TechShare positive implementations.
Thank you, sir. Any questions?
Thank you very much for your honor. The person that has been running point on the ground on all of this since we started was Mr. Sugar, and he did a yeoman's job on this thing.
I appreciate y'all's time.
I'm just glad you made it work, especially since I was on Indigent Defense.
Yes, sir. And we have Don Hossie, who's currently on the board, also is using the system. So I invited him here, but he said he's got things to do.
Earn more money. Thank you very much.
That's all we have at this time, Your Honor.
Then we will recess our open meeting and proceed to close to discuss items exempted under Section 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code.
Didn't you and I bet a soda water on this?
Give them a copy.
Clerk. Natalie Collins.
Yeah, Natalie. Having returned from our closed session, we will now address the following matter.
Judge, members of the court, the Criminal District Attorney's Office is requesting the court to approve the settlement in case number 153-268-920-13, Andrea Hawk and Tamara Brooks versus Tarrant County, and that the court authorize the county auditor to issue the check without first having the matter appear on the claims roster.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously with Commissioner Brooks absent.
Remember the names on
Yeah.
closing?
Did you get all the names of the folks that we're closing in memory of?
No.
D. Kelly Sr., Irma Hadley Johnson, or Irma
Johnson had.
Irma Johnson Hadley, Kathy Hurt and her husband, is it Daryl, I believe, Hurt?
Red Barton.
Red Barton. I think that's everybody.
Rainwater.
Well, I mean,
No.
yeah, I understand. We're adjourned.